In the Western imagination, the harem is a place of beauty and sexual depravity. Now, through newly disclosed documents and diaries, the secrets of the harem in the last 50 years of the Ottoman Empire are revealed. It's a world of power politics, Islamic mysticism, and the struggle for women to emerge from behind the veil. In this episode, a reform-minded sultan is deposed. The queen mother plots to restore him to the throne. A slave girl becomes his concubine. His daughters must choose, remain prisoners, or accept the sultan's choice of husbands in arranged marriages. Istanbul, at the crossroads between Europe and Asia. Once known as Constantinople, in 1453 it is conquered by the Ottomans, descendants of Asian tribes converted to Islam, and becomes their capital. The Ottomans extend their empire through jihad, or holy war, from North Africa, across the Middle East, and up into the Balkan states of Christian Europe. At the very heart of the empire is the Sultan's Harem, a sacred place. The family residence, the only place where Islamic women may appear unveiled and uncovered.
When we entered palace service, we were threatened with death. Whatever you see, you will behave as if you hadn't seen. Whatever you hear, you will tell no one. You will make no attempt to learn about a matter that has been concealed from you.
Filisten is a novice slave girl in the harem of Prince Murat, heir to the Ottoman throne. Decades later, Filisten grants an interview to a Turkish writer detailing the events of this night in the palace and the years to come.
The Lady Mother came into the hallway at that moment. She was terribly anxious and in a state of agitation. Half asleep, the aides and the eunuchs on duty that night were gathering, their dress disheveled, trying to pull their jackets over their arms.
Validem.
Now our master came in. He was practically in a daze.
Bu işte bir tuhaflık var. Ben bu haberi sabah beklerdim.
When the Lady Mother saw her son, she went up to him and said,
Arslanım.
"Don't be afraid, my son. God willing, this is auspicious."
Bu işin sonu hayırlara vesile olacak.
İnşallah anam. İnşallah.
Our master was quite frightened and agitated. He seemed to implore help from the people around him.
An officer brings news of a coup d'etat that will put Murat on the throne. Murat is sympathetic to democratic reforms, but he's fearful. Among his predecessors, 14 have been deposed, many of them assassinated.
Now I too was so overcome that I forgot all palace rules and went right up and slipped into the group. The wives and concubines were weeping with joy and offering thanks to God for showing them this day. Within less than an hour, all these people who had spent long and gloomy years confined and restricted might find themselves embarking upon an entirely new life.
In the 1870s, the Sultan lives in the harem, the private and secluded household residence of the Dolmabahce Palace. The heirs to the throne are kept confined in smaller harem quarters. The Sultan's mother, Şevkeza, is preoccupied with moving into the imperial apartments. Once a slave girl, she is now the Valide Sultan, or Queen Mother.
As fate had it, Prince Hamid arrived at that moment.
Gözünüz aydın Valide Sultan.
Prince Abdulhamid, Murat's younger half-brother, offers his congratulations to the new Valide Sultan.
Sultan Abdülaziz'in kadınları bir türlü harem dairesinden çıkıyor.
Demanding to install her son, Murat, into the imperial harem, Şevkeza requests Prince Hamid's help to clear the previous sultan's women. He refuses.
Sen bilirsin şehzadem. Lakin bu sözlerimi sakın unutmayasın. Onun devri artık kapandı.
It was practically the declaration of war between the new Valide Sultan and Prince Hamid.
Jewels and wealth beyond imagination await the women of Murat's harem. The sealed apartments of the previous Valide yield 12 cases of gold weighing more than 14,000 pounds.
The old Sultan's mother and his ladies had left their apartments in such a hurry that they left everything behind. This was the personal fortune of the Valide, which according to the laws of the imperial house now belonged to the new Valide.
Islam imposes segregation and the veil on women to protect them from men who aren't family members. Their purity assured, the Sultan will choose his wives and concubines from the slave girls raised in the harem.
Palace girls were ecstatic with joy. 1,000 chores needed doing, but these young girls were thinking of only making themselves look as beautiful as possible for him.
Little Princess Hatice, the new Sultan's daughter, joins the slave girls in the search for treasure, but a dark discovery awaits. The last inhabitants have left talismans, voodoo-like dolls.
The Valide's apartments had the greatest number of these charms. One talisman in particular astonished all of us. This talisman was a crude doll made from a yellow wax candle. The name Murad was written in red across the doll, and dozens of pins had been stuck into it.
In addition to his empire, Murat is master of a harem of more than 80 women, children, and eunuchs. On taking the throne, Murat's 4 wives pay their respects to the new Valide Sultan, their mother-in-law. Murat's first love, Elaru, 38, although childless, is senior consort. Reftardil, 36, is mother of his only son.
Hepimize uğurlu olsun güzel kızım.
Sayan, 23, a Russian slave girl, is mother of Murat's daughter, Princess Hatice.
Gel güzel kızım.
And Meyli Servet, 21, who had come to the palace of her own volition, is the 4th consort.
Sizleri böyle mutlu görmek.
Polygamy has been a custom since the beginning of human history. The Quran ordains that a Muslim can marry up to 4 wives, but only if he can care for them all equally well. The sexual politics of the harem are set aside while the wives share in the moment of ascension. Behind harem doors is a closed world of ritual and protocol. The Ottomans rely on a system of slavery to staff the harem and the government. In return for absolute loyalty and obedience, palace service offers a career, a status, and security for life. It's a paranoid world where the Sultan's food must be tasted and only the inner circle may set eyes on him. After years of confinement as the heir, the new Sultan Murat fears spies everywhere, even in the heart of his personal sanctuary.
Kuvvettir. Şifa olur sana.
Valide, bu kızların hepsi bizim kızlar, eminiz değil mi? Yani aralarında amcamın cariyelerinden olmasın.
Eminim arslanım. Müsterih ol. Kızlar çabuk.
Despite his popularity and the hope he offers for reform, it hasn't been a peaceful transition for Murat. In the midst of what should be celebration, Murat is troubled, and with reason. The head butler arrives with distressing news. The deposed Sultan Aziz is dead, his body lying on the floor of the Beşiktaş police station.
10 minutes ago, he was the Padishah. Now he is nothing.
Official word is that Aziz committed suicide. But perhaps he has been murdered. The shock of the news hits Murat, and the pressure is too much to bear. Could he be next?
The 5 days and nights of celebration ended at that moment. A mournful sadness and quiet took over the harem.
Word of his incapacity spreads. Outside the harem, there are even rumors of insanity. With a power vacuum and numerous threats to the far-flung empire, Murat's half-brother Hamid convinces the generals to put him on the throne.
We had no idea what was happening on the day our Sultan's reign ended. We learned that he had been deposed from the sound of booming cannon, announcing the accession of a new monarch.
After only 93 days as Sultan, Murat is deposed by his half-brother Abdul Hamid. On the new Sultan's orders, Murat, his mother Şevkeza, his 4 wives and 2 concubines, the hazinedars and musician kalfas, the kitchen and laundry kalfas, the slave girls and eunuchs, the butlers and the tray bearers, the treasurers and equerries, more than 80 people are removed from the Dolmabahce Palace.
We bowed to the will of fate, saying, "In truth, these palaces are but pigeon lofts. They belong to no one. One group leaves, the next arrives."
Spared the fate of his predecessor, Murat and his harem are quietly sent to another royal palace along the Straits of the Bosphorus, where they will live in confinement for the next 28 years.
Adil bir kul ve Osmanlı hanedanlığının hakimi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Şehzadem, Allah seni el-adil ve ehkamül hakimin isminin hatırına.
Traditionally, the girls who come to palace service are required to study and convert to Islam. By the 1870s, most come from the Muslim tribes of Central Asia.
ehkamül hakimin isminin hatırına. adil bir kul ve Osmanlı hanedanlığının hakimi eylesin.
Murat's women pray for the restoration of his health and his return to power. The imperial family is divided. Princess Seniha is among those who want to see her half-brother Murat regain the throne. She is outraged at the lack of medical treatment for Murat. She is about to violate the sanctity of the harem.
Aslanım, sana hekim getirdim.
One day, Princess Seniha did something very brave. She met up with a doctor, had him put on the veil of one of the coups, and in this manner smuggled the doctor into the palace. This doctor remained in the palace for 12 nights, treating our master and anyone who was sick. He was smuggled out of the palace in the same way. This sort of thing could not be kept secret for long. Soon enough, the Sultan's spies found out about it, and Princess Seniha was expelled from the palace.
Murat's mother plots to put her son back in power. She seeks support from the British, offering a strategic alliance. The couriers are chosen from among the most trusted concubines.
Siz kimin lakırdısını yaptığınızın farkında mısınız? Efendinizin talihi demek sizin talihiniz demektir. Bu mevzuda tek bir laf daha ederseniz ağızlarınızı yırtarım. Çekil.
A clandestine meeting is arranged. The naval correspondent for the Times of London is enticed to an audience with the former Valide Sultan. Captain James Gambier is an experienced agent and spy. From the memoirs of Captain James Gambier.
Never have I seen a face that bore such traces of emotion and sorrow as this woman's. Nor was it to be surprised at, seeing that she was entrusting her very life and that of her son to a perfect stranger, and he not a follower of the Prophet. These people were clearly playing for a tremendous stake. The greatest stake that can be played in the game of fate, life and death. The most potent influences in all the gamut of human nature were the cards they played with. A mother's love to begin with, and infinite self-interest and wealth following in its wake. I was at once offered a very large sum of money. And what support was I to give?
Oğlum,
Prensinizle arkadaştır.
I was to take up Murad's cause, and I was to endeavor to initiate a new policy.
Hayırlısı budur. Prens Edward'a haber vermelisiniz. Haber verin. Sarayın bütün altınları sizin olacaktır. Hayal edemeyeceğiniz zenginlikler sizin.
The Halide urges Gambier to tell Britain's Prince Edward that his friend Murat has recovered. She offers extraordinary wealth to anyone who will help her put her son back on the throne. But the Halide Sultan's efforts to engage the British will come to naught.
I cannot promise anything that is beyond my control. After painful indecision, I determined I would not pursue the venture. Perhaps it was as well, for a week after, I might quite possibly have found myself with a knife in my ribs in some dark corner of Galata, or floating gaily down the Bosphorus in a sack.
As Murat begins to recover his health, he rises from his sickbed and sends for his music kalfa.
You are to stay in this room, he told her, and always play the piano for me. He became more and more animated while listening to the music, until finally he leaned over to Tarzanevin and said softly,
Daha sonra temize çekersin. Birlikte çalışırız, tamam mı?
write down the notes for the arrangement I'm going to play.
The harem women smuggle Murat's music into the streets, a coded message to the people of Istanbul. Played by the organ grinders of Istanbul, Murat's music lets the people know he has recovered his health. Security around the palace is tightened.
Measures designed to imprison us were increasing day by day. The windows and balconies facing the Bosphorus were sealed. Not so much as a bird could fly over Çırağan Palace.
Validem.
The Quran decrees, virtue is at the feet of the mother. The deposed sultan's daily ritual begins with a visit to his mother.
The great weakness of the Lady Mother Şevkevza was the deep devotion she nurtured towards her son. The valide greeted him, uttering soothing things.
Elbet bu günler de geçecektir Murat.
Often, mother and son would talk for hours, making decisions about the daily life of the palace.
Siz nasılsınız? Sağlıktasınız inşallah.
Elhamdülillah.
Hamdolsun.
The Valide Sultan guides her son on affairs of state and of the heart. A slave girl like Filisten could only hope to achieve the rank of Kalfa, a trusted servant, after years of palace service. A harem tradition had it that she could also become a Kalfa by suffering the degradation of kissing the hem of her master's kaftan.
Suddenly, I came to my senses, ran over to our master and threw myself at his feet.
Küçüğü Filistin Efendimiz.
Those presented with such a rare opportunity became at that moment senior foot, a Kalfa of
Serpil'imiz
rank.
geldiğinde küçücük bir kızdın. Şimdi kocaman bir dilber olmuşsun.
Filisten seizes the opportunity and catches Murat's eye.
All my friends congratulated me on my promotion to seniorhood.
Murat also desires her as a concubine, a choice that must be approved by the Valide Sultan.
Seni görmüş, beğenmiş.
The senior Kafas and Hazinedars expressed their approval of me.
Hangi köyden geliyorsun?
The Lady Mother even summoned me to her presence and expressed her pleasure with me.
Önce bir yüzüne bakayım. Kafa. Oldu.
Filisten's selection is cause for celebration in the harem, a clear sign of the master's return to health.
Giydirebilirsin. Kafa.
Emriniz olur sultanım.
Allah'ım çok şükür. Murat'ım, arslanım tekrar hayata döndü. Şükür.
Filisten prepares for her night with the ex-sultan. In 28 years of captivity, Murat, the only man in this harem, maintains 4 wives and 5 concubines. All details recorded in the logs of the High Hazinedar, the harem treasurer.
İyi misin kızım?
İyiyim sultanım, ya siz?
Ben de iyiyim.
A new
hamdolsun.
status is conferred.
Sabahleyin, Murat'ın
Once a slave girl given as a gift to Murat,
memnun, bir mesut.
Filisten is now a gözde, a favored concubine.
Ben de çok mesut oldum.
Following custom, she is granted her own apartment and a retinue befitting a royal consort.
İçer misin şerbet?
İçerim.
Hadi Hatice'ye de şerbet.
By nature, our master made a practice of treating everyone well.
Çok
He never gave his ladies any cause to complain.
olmuş Hatice'm benim. Çok yakışmış.
Despite their confinement in the palace, the customs of the harem, the traditions, and lifestyle continue.
Teşekkür ederim sultanım.
Murat and his harem live under the watchful eye of the Sultan's trusted eunuch, Vanliaga. Eunuchs, castrated men, are the only males permitted in the harem.
Vanliaga was scary and vicious. He made himself the dictator of the palace. Princess Hatice loved stories more than any girl ever did. She took up novels as soon as she learned to read, picking them from our master's books. She stayed up all night reading them.
Meanwhile, there's a new man in the harem. Murat's son, Prince Selahaddin, comes of age and begins taking consorts of his own.
Benim en güzel gözlem sensin.
Teşekkür ederim.
Bu haremin en güzeli sensin.
It's another opportunity for girls to advance their status in the harem.
Teşekkür ederim.
Quite a few children came into this world in Chiram Palace during the years of imprisonment.
Selahaddin soon fathers children with several consorts. When his infant daughter dies at 4 days old, he requests permission to bury her with honor. But Sultan Hamid replies, "Let the child be buried somewhere in the palace garden."
What a cruel response. To have a child buried right where the parents could see the grave? Imagine their heartache each time the mother and father pass by.
Princess Hatice, Murat's eldest daughter, has lived her entire life inside palace walls. Enchanted with all things French, Hatice escapes into a world of romantic fantasy.
As she grew older, her sentiments quickly became apparent. We saw that she was drawn to the complications of love. It became apparent that Princess Hatice was a bit too romantic.
Uyan uykusu çok, gözlerim uyan.
Prince Selahattin became his father's companion. The two of them passed long hours together studying mysticism.
Uyan uykusu çok, gözlerim uyan. Uyan uykusu çok, gözlerim uyan. Seherde
Murat and Saladin study the scriptures of the dervishes, a mendicant Islamic sect who struggle to learn humility. Inspired by the poetry of the mystic Rumi, Murat and his son seek meaning in their confinement.
Taşlar açılar, uyan ey gözlerim, gafletten uyan. Uyan uykusu çok, gözlerim uyan.
Murat and his harem have become ghosts in the empire they once ruled.
Our master's deposal from the throne put an end to the human ambitions that we harbored at our court. All the gossiping and jealousy, all the effort and bother expended on trying to win our master's favor so as to secure a position simply evaporated in thin air.
After 13 years confined to the harem, Chef Kevza becomes ill. The former slave girl, who for a brief moment was the most powerful woman in the empire, has one regret.
Her lips murmuring over and over again, "My son, my poor Murad, you couldn't have the one thing you hoped for."
Annem.
The former Valide uttered cries of pain that would break one's heart, until finally she closed her eyes for all eternity on life in this world.
Her loss nearly drives Murat back into depression. I wish that Allah had not shown me my mother's death, he cries. There are leaks in the security blanket thrown over the Turan palace. Murat composes a letter to his brother, Sultan Abdülhamit.
Kardeşimin yaptıkları yalnız bizi değil, bütün Osmanlı ahalisini perişanlığa sürüklemiştir.
My brother, the Sultan, is advised to abandon the old system of restraining the princes of the Ottoman family of their liberty and confining them to their palaces.
Ve bu uğurda elimizden geleni ardımıza koymayacağız.
He is advised to remove the veil from their eyes.
Devlet-i Osmaniye'nin
The system of espionage and punishment extends throughout the empire, and the nation regards the government with fear.
yönetimin
Europe cannot always be deceived.
bekasıyla değil,
The Ottoman nation must end the despotism that has brought the empire to the present situation.
yeniden ilanıyla tarih olur.
The women of the harem smuggle the letter to the world press, evidence that Murat remains committed to the ideals of democracy. One girl will defy the Sultan and become a leader in the movement for women's emancipation. Halide Edip is the daughter of an Ottoman official, raised in a polygamous household.
Take out your books. Who can start reading for us? Halide, can you open to page 50?
School had not only taken me away from home and family worries. Its free atmosphere had put out of my thoughts the suspicious smothering of absolutism to which my home life was constantly exposed.
Despite a decree by Sultan Hamid forbidding Muslim girls from attending foreign schools, Halide, age 13, persists in going to the American college. She will continue to challenge convention for the rest of her life. Generations will be born in captivity at Turan, but only to the male line. For Murat's daughters, the harem of their father provides no such love.
Hayırdır kızım?
Bey babacığım, sizden bir istirhamım var. Ben artık 27 yaşıma geldim.
At the age of 27, Princess Hatice is concerned that she will never have a husband.
21 yıldır bu
Hatice appeals to her father,
köhne sarayda
requesting a husband and a chance at escape from Turan.
kaderimi sizin kaderinizle paylaştım. Nihayet müsaadenizle izdivaç vaktimin gelip geçtiği fikrindeyim.
Gözümün nuru. Hepimizin hali perişan.
What can I do, stuck inside these four walls, he says.
Bu saraya diri diri gömüldün. Bunun bir hal çaresini düşünelim.
He sends for a messenger. He will send a petition to his brother, Sultan Hamid, with a request to find husbands for the princesses of his family. Hamid sends a response. He sends his compliments to his brother and says, "His daughters are my children as well. I consider it my duty to find husbands for them.
Bak ablacığım, Yunan trajedisi. Aynen bizim trajedimiz gibi ha.
But there is one condition. Once they leave the palace, they may not return. Hatice must choose her family or an arranged marriage.